I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like, everybody they tiptoe around with this social media. But what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequences.
Everything changed the moment Iman got that call from his own daughter. The kind of call no parent ever wants to receive. Her voice cracked like it was struggling to hold together something that had already fallen apart. "Mom's new man hurt me," she whispered. Just 4 words, but they hit like a train, smashing through Iman's heart and gut in one breath. He didn't pause to ask questions, didn't wait for backup or check his schedule. Without even a second thought, Iman was out the door. He didn't care about the cameras, the set, the fame. Nothing else mattered except her. The only thing echoing in his mind was his daughter's shaking voice, the weight of those words, and the urgent need to get to her before anything worse happened. When he arrived, what unfolded next didn't just shake their household. It sent shockwaves across neighborhoods, headlines, and the hearts of every parent who heard the story. Iman was on set that day, midway through filming a commercial shoot, surrounded by lights, directors, and noise, when his phone buzzed with a message that made his blood run cold. It wasn't one of those casual dad texts asking for snacks or screen time. No. Her voice memo was raw and uneven, filled with a type of panic that no child should ever know. "He pushed me. I didn't even do anything," she said, and it wasn't the words that broke Iman, it was how she said them. Shaky, scared, so unsure, like she was still trying to convince herself she hadn't imagined it. Iman didn't even say goodbye to the crew. He didn't wait for security. He didn't alert anyone. He was out of there, fast. His car peeled out like the brakes had stopped existing. According to people close to him, his energy was panicked but focused. A man on a mission, his instincts burning with urgency. He wasn't trying to make headlines. He wasn't after drama. This wasn't about ego. This was about his little girl, and nothing in this world was more sacred than that. When Iman arrived, he didn't walk, he stormed in. But he didn't yell or slam doors. The first thing he did was kneel down to his daughter's eye level, quietly, away from the others. His voice wasn't angry, it was soft, like he was trying not to scare her more than she already was. "Tell me what happened, baby. All of it." And she did. Slowly, nervously, piece by piece. She said she was on her tablet when Aaron started getting upset about how long she'd been using it. She said she tried to explain that she had just finished her homework, but he wasn't listening. She said he grabbed her arm, tight. "It really hurt," she whispered. "And he yelled really close to my face. I didn't even say anything bad. He was just mad." Iman listened, his hands trembling slightly, trying to keep his breathing even. Those words, "it hurt and he yelled," kept playing in his head, looping louder with each beat of his heart. He tried to stay calm, but it showed. His eyes were red, his jaw clenched, and his fingers flexed like they were trying to keep from making fists. One witness in the room later said, "You could see him change in real time. Like something broke in him right there." He didn't shout. He didn't lash out immediately, but something inside Iman had shifted. As a father, that shift was permanent. Teyana had no idea what kind of storm was about to hit her front door. She opened it to find Iman already inside, holding their daughter protectively, and staring with eyes that were full of questions, but also accusations. She thought this was just about a disagreement over screen time. A parenting moment, nothing more. But as Iman spoke, the color drained from her face. "Why is my daughter scared in her own home?" he asked, not shouting but demanding in a way that cut through the air like a blade. She looked at Aaron, stunned, her hands already shaking. "Is this true?" she asked, and even her voice cracked under the weight of the moment. Aaron, standing a few feet away, denied hurting her but admitted he had grabbed her arm. "I was trying to get her attention," he explained, his voice tight and defensive. But the look on Teyana's face shifted. The mother in her woke up, and the partner in her started to question everything. The room was no longer neutral. Every second passed like a match to gasoline. Then it happened. The confrontation everyone hoped would stay behind closed doors burst out in the open. Iman didn't hold back. He stood in front of Aaron, inches away, his voice hard and sharp. "If you ever touch my daughter again, I swear. And that was when someone had to physically hold him back. Aaron, trying to stay calm, kept insisting it wasn't what it looked like. But Iman wasn't buying it. You don't get to lay a hand on her. Ever, he said, his voice rising with each word. The two men stood there like opposing storms, neither backing down. Teyana tried to step in, but the energy in the room was already out of control. Neighbors said security from down the street came to intervene. What nearly happened was a physical altercation, right in front of the child, right in the place where she should have felt safest. And that was the moment that changed everything for those who saw it. It wasn't just about parenting styles anymore. It was about what happens when trust is broken in front of innocent eyes. News travels fast, but emotion moves even faster. Within mere hours of the incident, the story had taken over social media, igniting a wave of outrage and heartbreak. What began as whispers of a confrontation turned into a wildfire of public reaction. The details spread rapidly, but what stood out most wasn't just the scandal, it was the overwhelming emotional response. This wasn't just gossip making rounds. This was pain, this was anger, and for many, this was personal. People weren't just reacting to the drama. They were connecting it to their own experiences, their own trauma, and the shared belief that children, especially black girls, deserve better. Social media quickly became the epicenter of public discourse. Fans and strangers alike flooded their timelines with support for Iman, who many hailed as the only one who acted with a sense of urgency and care. He did what any real father would do, one user wrote, and that single sentence was shared across hundreds of thousands of accounts. The sentiment rang loud and clear. A man stepping up to protect a child, even if that meant stepping into conflict, was something worth defending. On the other end of the spectrum, Aaron faced the full weight of public condemnation. If a child says they are scared or hurt, you stop everything and listen. Another post read, and that wasn't even the most intense. Comment sections, threads, and stories were flooded with demands for accountability. Hashtags like #ProtectBlackGirls, #Iman stepped up, and #AaronOut took over timelines for hours, creating not just conversation, but a digital rallying cry. People weren't just watching this unfold, they were choosing sides. What had started as a private matter between a fractured family suddenly became symbolic of something much bigger. It became a battle about responsibility, emotional safety, and the way society responds when children, especially young black girls, express pain. There was no middle ground for many. You were either protecting the child or failing her. As the internet roared, even legal experts began to weigh in. Questions surfaced about whether Aaron's actions, or lack thereof, crossed any legal boundaries. Was there emotional abuse involved? Should Child Protective Services step in? Some fans took it further, demanding that Iman be granted full custody of the child, believing he had proven himself to be the more stable, nurturing presence. Public opinion was no longer just outrage. It had turned into calls for action. And for many, this was more than a moment. It was a movement. One centered around the undeniable truth that every child, regardless of the adult drama surrounding them, deserves to feel safe. Always. In the days that followed, something inside Teyana seemed to shift too. Her silence wasn't just a pause, it was reflection. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't just a mother caught in the middle of two men or a woman trying to balance love and loyalty. She became someone standing at the edge of a difficult truth. Maybe she had made a mistake. Maybe, in trying to keep the peace, she'd allowed things to go on too long. Maybe protecting her daughter meant finally facing things she had been trying to ignore. Sources close to her revealed that after the fight, she packed a small bag, took her daughter by the hand, and went to stay at a friend's house. Not to run, not to hide, but to breathe, to think. She didn't post anything. No explanations. No carefully crafted PR statements. No late-night Instagram live streams trying to explain her side. She said nothing at all. And yet, that silence spoke volumes. Sometimes, silence is louder than rage, deeper than tears, and heavier than words. It was as if, for the first time, Teyana was done explaining, done justifying, done negotiating with a situation that kept hurting the one person she loved most. Fans noticed the silence too, and they filled in the blanks with their own conclusions. Speculation flooded the internet. Was this the end of her relationship with Aaron? Was this the moment she finally saw things clearly? Could she even forgive what had happened? And more importantly, should she? People didn't wait for official answers. They made their judgments based on what they saw, what they felt, and what they believed to be right. One post stood out among thousands. "You can't rebuild trust once a child's been hurt." It was short, but it struck a nerve, and it was shared over 200,000 times. That one sentence became a kind of moral anchor for how people were framing the entire situation. Because at the core of all of this, one truth refused to be ignored. When a child's trust is broken, the damage isn't just momentary. It's long-term. And it leaves a mark that doesn't always fade. No one can decide that for her. But what's clear is that the world is watching, not for drama, not for entertainment, but for resolution, for healing, for accountability, and most importantly, for the protection of a little girl who didn't ask to be part of any of this. A girl who, like all children, deserves to be heard, believed, and loved in a way that never makes her question her value. This wasn't just a messy celebrity moment. It was a mirror. A painful reminder of how quickly things can go from normal to chaos when a child is involved. And how a single moment, one raised voice, one grab too firm, can flip a home upside down. Parents watching from the sidelines felt it deep. Because this wasn't about fame or headlines. This was about a father showing up without waiting for permission. About a mother torn between the man she chose and the daughter she brought into this world. About a child who just wanted to play on her tablet but ended up crying in a corner. It's not about who's right or wrong anymore. It's about who's willing to stand up, even if their voice shakes. And what happens next? That depends on whether people are willing to put egos aside and finally choose the child. Every single time. Do you believe Iman handled it the right way? Or did it nearly go too far? Should Teyana give Aaron another chance? Or shut that door for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This story has everyone choosing sides. Smash that like if you believe no child should ever feel unsafe. And subscribe for more emotional, real-life celebrity drama that hits where it matters most.